Peace, and welcome to Pushya Astrology YouTube channel, where we keep our eyes to the sky and ears to the street. We're glad you dropped in for another informative episode regarding Jyotish or Vedic astrology. Before we get started on today's conversation, please, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button. Also, make sure you hit that bell notification so that when videos like this come down, you definitely get wind. Today is an opportunity we have to discuss the new moon that's moving into Cancer on July 24th, 2025, this Thursday. And this is an opportunity for us to really find some rest and relaxation, some replenishment of some energies that we may find ourselves depleted from here recently. The new moon is actually going to be at 8 degrees Cancer. And 8 degrees Cancer, right, allows us to utilize that envelope or 30-degree energy zone that replenishes and renews our energy. You know, Cancer is a sign that's known for caring, right, for nurturing, right, for supporting ourselves and others. So this is an opportunity to plant that seed for the next 30 days. Cancer is also a sign that deals in really creating healthy habits, right, and healthy routines. Because the moon rules Cancer, the moon takes a journey around the zodiac every 27.2 days, or give an average 29 days, right? And so that cycle that repeats is a representative of Cancer, meaning we have the power to establish habit and ritual and routine. The thing about Cancer is that it is tied to the great mother goddess, right? It is tied to the great mother energy that is on this particular planet. And it's an opportunity for us to really find a time to feel safe, right? To feel that we have the proper boundaries around us and that we feel protected. It's a time to plant the seeds for those things to occur in our lives for the next 30 days. Now, because this particular new moon falls in a portion of the sky called a nakshatra, we're going to tie this into to this particular nakshatra that resides in Cancer. The nakshatra that is going to happen or occur in is called Pushya, and Pushya occurs between 3 degrees 20 minutes of Cancer to 16 degrees 40 minutes of Cancer. It is a nakshatra, or a portion of the sky that is directly tied to the sign of Cancer. And so this nakshatra is a very interesting and a very reassuring nakshatra. The star that's connected to it is called Delta Canceri, or, right, Acilius Aurealis, or Acilius Borealis, meaning this is the star that connects to the donkey. The symbol of the star, or the star, is tied to what is called the southern donkey. And interestingly enough, right, it does have some connections to biblical stories. Jesus rode in on an ass when he was to be delivered before Palm Sunday. And also, this particular star is connected in folklore to the crib or manger where Jesus was born. So this is a very nurturing, supporting, mothering nakshatra or energy zone. So when we find the new moon, the Amavasya, the time when we can really plant seeds, right? We can do ancestral worship during Amavasya. It's a time to connect to the ancestors. It's a time to start meditation practices. It's a time to really get into mantras. And even if you have the need, right, to offer donations so that you can, utilize that process of spiritual offerings to kind of cleanse the way or clear the way for your spirit. Spiritual growth, that is. The other piece that is tied to this is that this nakshatra has a deity. Every one of the 27, or sometimes considered 28 nakshatras, has a specific deity or a particular divine aspect to it. And the deity tied to this is called Brihaspati. Brihaspati is the deva, is the guru of the devas. It's the guru of the gods. And so it is known for its ability to bring mantric knowledge, right? A wealth of religious and spiritual insights, guidance, right? This is what Brihaspati is all about. In understanding this particular portion of Cancer, it's a time where we really get a chance to become renewed, right? In our journey, in our daily living, in our destiny. So, nonetheless, right? This is a time in this new moon that we can create new sadhanas, new spiritual practices, or even get involved into yogic practices. It's a very spiritual portion of the sky. So it's a time when we can create those spiritual vibrations in our life and have them resonate for the entirety of what we call our days. The thing about this particular nakshatra is tied to rituals. And so ritual is a power that we can institute that becomes a regularity to anchor the soul and stabilize our minds. Ritual is something that we repeat typically, not always, but many times. Ritual, meaning even becoming ritualistic, allows us to do things in a way that brings us back full circle, that allows us to go in and come out and be replenished. So this is why this particular portion or area of the sky, when they have a new moon there, is a time to create new rituals in our lives. The power of ritual allows us to be renewed, to be replenished, to be reset, to be recalibrated, to be reorganized in our life. This is a time to really understand if you are living and realizing the proper routines. You know, we don't think about it because routines become automatic, but this time, because it's a new moon, is a time when we can go in and reassess what we do on a daily basis, how we serve ourselves and others on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, in a routine or ritual-like basis. This is the power of ritual to replenish or renew. This is one of the abilities the nakshatra gives us. And so because Brihaspati, again, is the lord of ritual, it is a time to activate ritual in our life, right? We can also deactivate the wrong things that we repeat by putting in the right things. So, the old adage is, you can't serve two masters, or two things can't occupy the same space at the same time. This is a time to phase out the old negative repeated things that we know that are not helping us and start the new and begin the journey of self-discovery and self-improvement through this nakshatra, through this new moon. It does occur on a Thursday, so one of the things we always consider is the day that the new moon occurs on, and it occurs on a day that is tied directly to Brihaspati. One of the other names for Brihaspati is Jupiter, right? So they go hand in hand. In fact, they're synonymous with one another. So this is also connected to Jupiterian energy. This time of the month, or this time of the year, in the sense of the new moon. The other piece of this is that it is ruled by Saturn. The nakshatra is ruled by Shani, and Shani is the planet that allows the consistency, the endurance, the sacrifice, right? The responsibility that comes with spiritual power and spiritual energy. That is what is given here, and that is what is required. So as much given, as much required. Saturn is the planet that allows us to tie in to tradition. This is a very traditional aspect of the zodiac. It is a very traditional sense in the word of creating those rhythms that allow us to tie back to our original self. The other thing to consider here is that it is tied to a symbol, right? And the symbol is a cow's udder. The other name for this particular nakshatra, Pushya, is called Tishya. And Tishya means auspicious. So this is a time we really can gain a lot of foothold in the sense of really grounding ourselves and getting ourselves some energy that helps us to recenter. it deals in abundance, right? So anything planted now, Cancer, considering the sign, this is a portion of Cancer. Cancer, whatever is within it, it's going to grow it naturally. Just like a mother would grow a child, or someone that's caring for you isn't necessarily trying to grow you up into a healthier, more viable space. This is an energy that allows us to grow, to have abundance. So things that are planted here, habits, things that you're trying to start, new projects. Again, be careful of starting new projects when other planets are at play, but this is a nakshatra that does allow us to begin things to help better ourselves. The Shakti, there is a power, and Shakti just means power, right? There's a power that comes with this particular nakshatra or star, and it is called Brahma Vachasana Shakti. And Brahma Vachasana Shakti is the power to create spiritual energy. There's a dual aspect to each nakshatra, one that talks about the bases above and the bases below. The bases above for this particular nakshatra is sacrificial worship, meaning to allow ourselves to worship in a manner that allows us to put something on the altar, right? That altar is an alchemical tool that allows us to transform lower base energies to higher vibrational energies. That is one of the powers of this particular nakshatra, to make sacrifice and turn that which is mundane into that which is sublime. So use this time wisely. Use the seed planting season of Amavasya wisely, because whatever you plant can take root easily. Brahmacharya, Brahma Vachasana Shakti is a Shakti that allows us to create the implementation of ideas and to create bonds and connections with others with ease, without any type of resistance. It allows us to build friendships and bonds. Cancer is the sign that connects or builds bonds, right? So considering this is a portion of Cancer again, this is a time when we can create those connections with others that we may necessarily need to deal with on a regular basis. The thing that this nakshatra should leave you feeling is energized. It should leave you feeling joyful, and it should leaving you feeling there's no lack or no fatigue. So by, again, utilizing the power of ritual to replenish and renew, you can definitely advantageously connect to the time that we're in and utilize those forces to move forward in a healthy and viable manner. And so with that, I bid you adieu. Before we go, again, please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and also hit that bell notification so when these types of videos come down, you get wind. And with that, I bid you peace and love. Again, keep your eyes to the sky and ears to the street.